Hello and welcome to the Untitled Addict Triathlon podcast. We're brought to you every week by our sponsors PrecisionHydration.com.
Precision Hydration offer electrolyte drinks in different strengths to match how you sweat. Personalise your hydration strategy today at precisionhydration.com and get a free box or tube of pH worth up to $9.99 using the code OxygenAddict.
We're also brought to you by foodcell.co.uk.
The next generation of top tube nutritional carriers for your bike, designed to allow endurance triathletes and cyclists to carry enough food and gels while allowing easy access. Use the code FREEPOST for free delivery worldwide. Check it out at foodcell.co.uk.
And also listen out later on for details of how you can win a place at the Outlaw and Half Outlaw. And we're also brought to you by Thriver.co.
Take health tracking to a new level with your personalised at-home finger prick blood test. Improve your health and catch any small health issues before they become big health issues. You can get 50% off your first baseline or advanced test with the code OxygenAddict.
All right, everyone, welcome to the show. It is the week of the 4th of March as we speak. Hells, how are you doing? Have you had a good weekend?
I have had a very good weekend, Rob. I did a 10K in the piercing wet rain on Anglesey yesterday, and it was great.
Love it. And you must be excited because you're only a week away from your crazy ski marathon, aren't you?
Oh my goodness, yes. Less than now, Rob. A week today, the deed will be done. 6 days and counting. I've checked the weather. I think we're in for snow on Thursday and Friday, and then hopefully the sun's going to come out. So I think that's a good thing. If I'm going for it, if there's a bit of, being a complete cross-country ski expert, clearly, if there's a bit of fresh snow, hey, if it works for downhill, then I'm sure it'll be fine. They have to groom the trails anyway, so yeah, it'll be great.
There'll be a few people in front of you, I'd imagine, anyway, won't there?
I think 13,999. Oh no,
that's just
hold
nuts. On. The idea of 14,000 people with skis strapped on. How long does that stretch from end to end?
Oh, a long old way.
Because your skis are 1.5 meters long or something, right?
A long old way. It's a good job. You can choose to do classic, which is in the tracks, or freestyle, which I like to call skatey. Because then it spreads out. I'm doing skatey.
Right.
So
wow,
it really kills the inside of your legs.
I bet it does. And how are you feeling? Are you in good shape and ready to go, or is it a complete jump into the unknown?
I'd say it is a 90% jump into the unknown.
Awesome.
So fitness wise, I know the fitness is okay. It's pretty fine. So that's good. It's just going to be a long day out. I'm going to take a bit of extra food this time because I think that affected me, not the lack of technique at all. But yeah, I think, as you get a little bit older, gradually year on year, your fear grows more.
Okay.
So
you're doing something you're afraid of. You're pushing yourself to do something you're afraid of, are you?
Oh, massively.
What's driving this?
Any sort of incline or downhill bit, I'm not bothered about the uphill actually, because you just walk and there's cues. It's fine. It's the downhill on cross-country skis which just fills me with utter dread.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good for you. Exciting times.
It'll be great.
And you're doing it with, it's Lucy Gossage, and is it Chrissy as well? Is Chrissy
Lucy Gossage, Chrissy Wellington, Lauren Bradshaw, who is Lucy's friend and Tom Vickery's wife.
Okay.
Tom Lowe is, I think, due to be doing it as well. And then Mr. Richard Brown.
And how's everyone's levels of relative confidence? Are there any rock star skiers amongst you, or are you all kind of into the unknown here?
I think Tom's pretty much pro.
Okay.
Rich is a complete and utter novice.
Yeah.
Lucy is also a complete novice. Lauren, ditto, but I think she used to be some kind of skater, so if she does skatey, she'll be fine.
She'll be fine.
And Chrissy's basically a pretend pro as well, isn't she? Let's be honest.
I wonder whether she'd agree with that assessment. Tune in next week to find out whether that's true or not. I'm looking forward to hearing that. So we should point out at this point, we're gonna publish next week's show probably a day later than usual because you need to get back from your marathon. So we probably won't be publishing until Wednesday of next week when that comes out. By the time we manage to get you recovered and actually get a slot to recover, to record.
Yeah. Right. Well, fingers crossed. Fingers
crossed.
Well,
we wish you all the luck in the world, Hals. It sounds like a brilliant, completely bonkers adventure, and I'm sure there's a few people thinking, I need to go out and do a
cross-country ski marathon. Absolutely, you do. Yeah.
Well, something crazy that you inspired me a bit. I've entered an off-road mountain marathon for the end of April. I was thinking, well, Hals is doing something. I should do something silly as well.
Ooh.
So the Clywedian Hills
that
run along the edge of Wales and England.
A lot of D&V around there, Rob.
Exactly. Yeah, done a lot of that. So I always wanted to run that whole ridge from the sea all the way to the end, but you never get around to organising it. And someone's organising an event there, starting in Prestatyn and running south along the ridge and ending just past Molvama. So
that sounds ace.
Yeah, it sounds brilliant, doesn't it? Come and do it.
Is this an official thing?
Yeah. It's an organised event.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
28th of April, same day as London. So
I'm out. I'm in the capital.
Bummer. Oh well.
Yeah. Next time,
eh? Right, let's crack on with the show because we've actually had a bit of exciting racing going on this weekend. It's first kind of big weekend racing of the year. So before we jump in, a quick shout out to our sponsors, foodsell.co.uk. Foodsell, if you've not heard of them before, are making a fantastic top tube carrier for your bike. It can be attached to almost any bike because it comes with Velcro straps and a bolt attachment if you've got those bolts on your top tube. So you don't have to use zip ties anymore. It's been designed to carry more stuff for middle and long distance triathletes and endurance cyclists. So you can get 4 of those massive gels into it, or loads of flapjack, or even get a full spares kit into it, which is awesome. And it remains aerodynamic despite being bigger than some of the other similar food carriers on the market. Now, the really cool thing is it's got an opening that you can open and close with one finger, so you don't have to faff about trying to get stuff in and get stuff out again. It's a dead simple slide opening on the top, really clever design. And for podcast listeners, you can get free postage with the code FREEPOST, which is worldwide, even to the USA and places like that. So FREEPOST is the code to use for that. And also, if you can get to race in the UK, if you buy one before the 7th of March, you'll be entered into a draw for free entry to the Outlaw Half Nottingham. So there's a box you check when you buy the thing, and there's terms and conditions applied. So check those out when you read them. But if you get yourself on before the 7th of March, it also means you get to carry loads of stuff around on your bike as you're training over the next coming weeks. A beautiful spring weather that I'm predicting, Hals, with my will-be weather forecast. Hey, great. Everyone laughed. I called an early spring. Everyone laughed, and it was 20 degrees in February. Now, global warming aside, climate change aside, it was a pretty nice February half term. You've got to admit.
Very, very, very true. Yep. No doubt about that. It was delightful.
I was a bit gutted to be in Mallorca. Look at the weather forecast back home and see it was warmer back home than on the
happened
beach.
To me honestly, that happened to me a few years ago. It was rubbish.
Yeah, who'd have
rubbish. Anyway,
February,
Rob, shall we go to Ironman New Zealand?
Yes, we actually do the results. Let's do that. Right, so come on, tell us what happens, Harold.
So it was won by Jocelyn McCauley of the US and Mike Phillips of New Zealand. But it sounded like really, really exciting races because effectively Starkey was pretty much leading it in the men's race.
Laid it down on the bike, didn't he? What did he do? Did you see
he did
the
a
time?
4:12
That's
bike
insane
split.
On the New Zealand course. And that is not a fast course, and it's a really rough road surface as well. That's insane.
It was pretty much, I think, about 12 and a half, 13 minutes faster than the rest of the field. So absolutely laid it down.
Yeah.
And then, he was hanging on till the closing stages, but then got overtaken by Mike Phillips, who ran a 2:40 marathon. Starkey did a 3-hour marathon to hang on to second, and then Braden Curry was also chasing hard, and he did a 2:45 to finish in third. Should mention, Rob, Tim Reed. I think he's been a little bit sort of quiet on the results front over the last couple of years. He was fifth in 8:22 with a 2:51. The women's race. Wow.
Storming performance as well, yeah.
Rapid stuff. So Jocelyn McCauley had a few minutes deficit out the water. She then did a race best 4:57 bike split, which is incredible.
It really is,
and then
isn't
followed
it?
it up with a 2:58 marathon to break
Wow.
the course record, which was Meredith Kessler's old course record, 8:53. And then Teresa Adam was second in 9:05. Meredith Kessler third, 9:12, just ahead of Laura Siddle, who finished fourth.
It's especially impressive for Jocelyn McCauley that she kept pushing so hard when she was, what was she, like 10, 12 minutes up the road. A 2:58 marathon is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible. Really, really incredible.
That's the second really fast year they've had at Ironman New Zealand, isn't it? It was, and we looked at the times last year and said, I think, did he go sub 8 there last year? Or very, very close to, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
wow, wowzers. It just shows, doesn't it? Once one set of people go that fast on a course, it changes everyone's perception of how fast you expect to go on it, I think.
Yeah. But you mentioned Terenzo there. He was a DNF, Rob, in this year's race. He retired on the run.
He had a hamstring injury again or something, didn't he?
I think he was overcoming a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, bless him.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
But yeah. Starkey claimed his Kona spot, by the way. So it was the top two that got their Kona spot, and he's put something on about Twitter on Twitter to Cam Worth, almost like game on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So for Kona,
it's a good result for him to hold it together for a 3-hour marathon. It's a really shame that he goes that fast and doesn't get to win.
Yeah, it must be grating.
Yeah.
Really grating. Rob, there was a crazy sort of indoor race in Europe over the weekend.
I saw the video on somewhere. It's really cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was just to be precise here, 144 meter swim, just under 3.2k on the bike, and then just over a k on the run, all indoor in a stadium in France. And it just looked really quite cool. So it was a European Cup event. It was an indoor sprint. And in the men's race, it was won by Chris Perham of Great Britain in just over 10 minutes. So he did 10:09, 3 seconds ahead of Songo Lehmann of Hungary. And Pierre Lecour, who you might recognise from the ITU circuit, he took third. And then Nina Eim won the women's race in 11:24.
Brilliantly bonkers. The video looks amazing, doesn't it? They had a whole festival thing going on and like kids races with 6 to a lane setting off down the pool and then basically the pool's in the middle of an indoor running track and they rode around the running track and then they ran around the running track. So it looked like a brilliant event and I love stuff like that that's totally different. I think they tried it back in the day in the 80s as well. They had those kind of races then. So good on them for organising something different.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, really cool. And then we also had the 70.3 Oman take place on Friday of last week as well, didn't we?
Yeah, and now that was a first time in Oman for the 70.3 Ironman event. Have you been there, Rob? Have you been to Oman? Did you have any athletes racing?
I did have one athlete racing actually, and he had a good day. It looked like it was a fast day on the bike, a fast bike course, which is to be expected of those races out in the Middle East. We tend to see beautiful smooth tarmac helping along the way. So yeah, he was impressed with it, said it was really well run. So it's a nice, I know a lot of people head out to the Middle East for holidays this time of year. So I think people will be combining races out there with holidays as not necessarily like even a season opener from people in the Northern Hemisphere, but just something to do while you're away in a January, February break.
Yeah, and as countries go, compared to some of the other countries in the Middle East, Oman feels really genuine. Right. It feels you really do get that sense of sort of real tradition, and it's stunningly beautiful. So I reckon it'd be an amazing race.
Wow, okay.
6-time Ironman champion Natasha Badman, Rob, second female in that race. It was an age group only race. Blimey. That's all I can say. Blimey.
You got to be a bit nervous if you see Natasha Badman running you down at the turnaround, don't you?
Oh, massively. But the races were won age group only by Michaela Santini and Antoine Méchan.
Cool stuff. All right, so we're going to go into our interview of the week this week. Before we do, we're going to give you a shout out for sponsors precisionhydration.com. So remember, you can use the code OxygenAddict to get £9.99 worth of free precision hydration. If you are struggling with indoor training with cramps, if you're doing a lot of training on the bike at the moment indoors and you're sweating a lot, Precision Hydration have got the solution for you for your electrolytes. What we want you to do is go online and take their online sweat test, and it'll give you a lead as to whether you're a particularly salty or particularly heavy sweater. And typically, if you're suffering from cramps a lot after doing a lot of hot indoor training, that's a good sign that you can have a look at your electrolytes, and that'll really help. If you are, you can actually take an in-person sweat test with them as well. But even having taken their online sweat test will give you a lead. And the cool thing that they do is electrolytes of different strengths. So you can go all the way from 250 milligrams up to 1500 milligrams of sodium in your drink. It doesn't taste salty at all. So these next generation of electrolytes are not using sodium chloride. So you can bang as much of it into your drink as one. And it does not have that kind of drinking salt water taste that strong electrolytes back in the day used to. So you can go and check that over at precisionhydration.com. All right, Hells, who's our interview of the week with this week?
Very exciting, Rob. Georgia Taylor-Brown is our interviewee of the week. First of all, she's just brilliant. She'll have you, I think, laughing out loud. I was in stitches doing the interview. It's perfect timing because it's just ahead of the first WTS race of the season, which is Abu Dhabi, coming up this weekend. So Georgia Taylor-Brown will be racing in that one. And we might talk a tiny bit more about that towards the end of this podcast. But Georgia Taylor-Brown, Rob, what I remember is 2013, you and I went along to a local 5K race. It was a Sale Sizzler.
That's right.
And one of these results just stood out by a country mile. Then 19-year-old Georgia Taylor-Brown ran 16:47. It's amazing. And by that point, she had already been crowned Junior World Duathlon Champion and twice Junior European Triathlon Champion. But then she sort of went off the radar for a couple of years because she was basically having a really crap time with injury. 2016, she was back, she was competing, but really it wasn't until last year that she made a name for herself on the ITU circuit. And she totally surprised herself, as you'll hear in the interview, by finishing third overall in the series after podiums in Leeds and Edmonton and Montreal. So she's definitely one to watch for this season. And hopefully she'll be making that team for Tokyo 2020. So here is this week's interview of the week. Georgia Taylor-Brown, hello and welcome to the Oxygen Addicts Triathlon podcast. How's it going? It's a Tuesday, it's February, mid-afternoon. What have you been up to?
Hi, thank you and thanks for having me. I have done a hard swim this morning. We do like a VO2 session with a few max sprints in there. And then I had a little nap because I really, really needed a nap. And then I went out and did a running hill session. So 10 by a minute up quite a steep hill. And that really, about 35 seconds, it really kicks in. And then you're like, 25 to go still. But no, I just did that on my own this afternoon. So just got back from that really. So chilling out for the rest of the day now.
Oh, and would you say a lot of what you do you often train in the group? Do you often train with Jess, or are some of your sessions on your own?
Because we're a bit broken at the minute, I've done a lot of riding on my own recently. Obviously not, I've just got back from South Africa, but I ride mostly on my own, and I don't mind it, to be fair. I can kind of crack on and get long rides done, and I quite like doing Sundays. I usually do hill sessions, so I quite like doing that on my own, especially if you're really hurting and you really don't want anyone else around you. But me and Jess will run together quite a bit. We do usually do hill sessions on a Tuesday together, but I'm just getting back into it, so probably head over to hers next week and we'll start hills together because she's got a pretty good hill near her house. So we do that together and get each other out the door. We just kind of look at each other on the sofa while we're having a cup of coffee. And we're like, oh, we best do it then. But once we're out the door, it's fine. It's just getting yourself out of the door in the winter, because it's just miserable. Like, I'm looking out the window now and it's just grey and it's not very motivating. But yeah, we pull each other through.
Georgia, it's really refreshing to hear you say that, because we have chatted a lot on the podcast about, you know, those sort of the days in January which are just really, really dark, and it's really hard to get up in the mornings. And I guess you have to do this. This is your job, and even you find it sometimes difficult to motivate yourself to go and do it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I find it hard some days. But like I said, once you're out the door, it's fine, and you're like, yeah, this is fine. I can do this. I know what I've got to do. This is my session. We'll get it done. But it is when you're in your house and it's warm and you're wrapped up, you've got a hot drink, and you just look outside and you think, why am I going out in that? Sometimes I think I wish I had a normal office job, but then that would just be boring for me. I don't think I would cope with that. But no, I do find it hard. I think we all find it hard. But yeah, like I said, Jess and myself, we just we pull each other out the door. Like, even though we were doing different sessions today in different locations, we were texting each other right up until like 1:29 and being like, right, we're going at 1:30, we'll get out the door, we'll do it together, we got this. And we literally left the house at 1:30 together. I was like, right, well, we can do it together. As long as you go, I'll go.
It's like a virtual training buddy.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
That is brilliant. So rewind a number of years and just talk us through, how did you get into triathlon in the first place?
So I've been a swimmer since I was about 4, 5, and I never really stopped swimming, to be honest. I've always swam, and then I just sort of moved up through different swimming clubs, and then was in Manchester Aquatics swim squad, and I was doing quite a bit of swimming. I think I got up to about 18 hours of swimming in a week, so it was quite a lot of swimming. But then,
and would that have been like age of sort of 14, 15?
That would have been about 14, 15. Yeah. And then in high school, I think it might have been year 8 or 9. I did like my local cross country race. So we did a race in high school first around the fields, and I was lapping all of the girls, but they were walking, and I was kind of running past. I was like, come on, keep running. And they were just like, you're mad, I don't know how you're still running. I'm like, it's fun, look at me, I love it. And they just like clapping me as I go past, and just clapping. And then I got so after that I sort of was put forward for my local area for the cross country race, and then from there I think I qualified to then go to the counties, and then from there you qualified to go to English schools. I think that was the process, and then I think I did my first English schools, and I think the first one was in Liverpool at Sefton Park, and I made the England team there, and so I still remember the picture of all of us lined up. I think there was 10 of us, because the top 8 qualified and then 2 reserves, and we're all lined up in like tiny little scrawny things, little skinny legs, with these free t-shirts that we had been given from the event that basically went down to our knees. And we just stood there with our certificates, so proud, like not knowing what happened next. And then, after that, I just really enjoyed running. And, my dad is from a running background, and my mum's from a running background as well as swimming. So I guess it was kind of in the genes, yeah. And we're just a sporty family. Like, I was always going to do sport, and even if it wasn't as a career, I was just going to be sporty anyway. And then I kind of got better at running. I was only running once a week with my local running club, East Cheshire Harriers, and then I was really enjoying that. I was getting better, and then Mum put me forward for the British Triathlon, like the talent day, to get onto the like the junior talent squad. I can't remember what it was called back then. It's the England talent squad now, but when I was on it, it was England, Scotland, and Wales. But now it's just England talent. So it was like the British talent squad or something. I'm not sure. So I went along to the trial day for that, because you had to put your 1500 run time and I think 400 swim time into like a calculator, and it gave you a number, and if you were a certain number then you could go along to the trial day, and I did that, and then I think we did a 400 time trial and 1500 there, and I didn't think I was going to make the squad at all, because everyone there had done a triathlon, everyone knew each other, and I was like, I don't know anyone here, and I've never done a triathlon. And the coach at the time that was there, that was chatting to me, he chatted to me and my mum at the end of the day, and he was like, look, she's not done a triathlon before, like probably not going to be able to get on the squad because everyone here has done triathlons. I was like, oh, well, at least we came. And then the day after they called and said that I'd made the squad, so I was all excited, but then I think kind of the nerve setting, because I had never ridden a road bike before. So I didn't have a road bike, and I thought, wow, this is something very different now. I'm still basically a full-time swimmer, running once a week. All I did was one run session. I didn't do any runs at all. But yeah, I went to the first training camp, and I think it was in Wales, and it was absolutely freezing. I think it was in November or something, and it was so cold. It was snowing. I'd been given this old Trek road bike from British Triathlon, because I told them, like, I don't have a bike.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and they gave me this old road bike, and then I didn't have any kit at all. I think my mum, because I've got an older sister who's 33, and I think my mum pulled out like old cycling kit that she used to have. So it was just really, really rubbish, thin stuff. I was wearing basically just like normal fleeces and jumpers.
And everyone else was there in Lycra, no doubt.
Everyone was there in all this fancy like ASOS kit. I thought, oh my god, I didn't even know what that was at the time. And I was just there in like free t-shirts that you got from running races, like long sleeve, just layering up. And then I was mortified in the car park, because I sat in the car with my mum, I remember it, and I was like, Mum, I don't know what to do. So we're in Wales, like the hilliest place ever. It's absolutely freezing. I'm just going to get dropped. And I did get dropped. I think I fell off a few times because I wasn't used to the cleats. And then I was just suffering so much. So I ended up getting in the van and just eating jelly babies. I thought, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to do this. This is rubbish. But I just felt really rubbish after, like, having to get in the van. I thought, this is really rubbish. I don't want to be here. This is so embarrassing.
So what happened? What happened?
Yeah, then it kind of, but then I think I got back and I was just so tired. And after that camp, and I thought, you know what? I do enjoy this, and I like all the people, and they're really nice, and I'm going to stick at it, and it's not going to come easy. And it did take me about 2 years, to be fair, to learn how to ride a bike properly. I was just absolutely dreadful, and I was so weak. And it took me about 2 years to be able to stick in a bike pack, just to stay on a bike pack, because I got dropped through them all. But yeah, I stuck at it, and it's paid off.
You must have like absolute balls of determination, because so many people after that first day, basically being like in the pickup van, would have been like, no, I'll just stick to swimming with the occasional run. Yeah,
well, I think because I really enjoyed swimming, and I was loving running, and I was doing better at running than I was swimming. But my mum basically said, like, you can't keep doing both, because you can't really juggle that with school as well. It's too many hours. You're just going to run yourself to the ground. So obviously the best option there was to add another sport in.
Obviously.
Yeah. But so basically, I think I just wanted to do it because I didn't want to quit either swimming or running. And I did just really enjoy the whole environment of triathlon, and I didn't know much about it. I hadn't really ever followed it. But I just, once I got on the camp, I did like everyone was so nice, and I really enjoyed it. So obviously I just stuck at it and thought, I like this. I'm gonna give this a go. Like, British Triathlon have given me this opportunity here. They've took a gamble on me, who's never done a triathlon before. So I'm gonna show them that it was worth it.
And how old were you at that when you went to Wales? By the way, was that like 16?
I think I would have been. That would have been maybe 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I did my first triathlon at 16.
And when did you get your first road bike?
So when I got on the squad, the British Triathlon, that was they gave me that road bike there, that Trek one.
Yeah, but when did you get your own?
I didn't get my own for a while because I think I got a second one through British Triathlon because they had a deal with, was it Focus at the time, maybe Focus or Felt, one of them. So I got another bike through them, and then I got my own road bike through a sponsor in maybe like it was what 2011, 2012, and it was, I think it was silver and pink. It was a blue. The brand was blue. I don't think they're very common, but it was a nice bike. I was really happy with it, and I had pink carbon wheels as well that I thought were just amazing, race wheels. And so I think that was maybe 2012, I reckon.
So you got your first bike.
Yeah, my own bike.
Your own bike. Wow. Yeah. How would you sum up 2018?
Well, it was a bit crazy, really, wasn't it? Very unexpected. Definitely unexpected. I was
really.
Yeah, basically my aims for the year. I think when we sat down at the beginning of 2018, we looked at the World Series calendar, and I thought, right, I would like to do some World Series races, but only if I can get a start. So I went to do Bermuda, and that was a little bit tragic because I had the false start, and it was just an embarrassment. Because I knew straight away as soon as I got to transition. He didn't need to tell me. I was like, no, don't worry. I know. I definitely know I false started there. It was very obvious because I dived into the water. I was like, oh no, damn it. And then you have to swim 1,500 meters knowing that you're going to be stopped. So you think,
oh God, that's even worse.
Yeah, you think, oh no. I think it started there, so it didn't start off great. And from there, I was like, I'm probably not going to be able to do many World Series this year. And then the next one was Leeds. After that was it. Yeah, I think it was Leeds for me. And obviously, that was like an amazing race for me because basically Leeds was the race that was going to decide the World Series starts for the rest of the year, because we managed to get, I think we had 6 spots for Leeds because it was a home race. But for then the rest of the World Series, we only had 5. So basically, Leeds decided who was going to get the slots for the rest of the season. So luckily, I did well enough there, and then that just got me space for the rest of the season. But Leeds was just amazing. I didn't expect that at all because I started a transition just behind Soph in second, and I just thought in my head, oh right, why am I at the front? I've never run out of T2 at the front at all.
Oh, who's at the door?
Sorry, we've just got a parcel here.
That's all right, don't worry.
Do you want to? Can you pause it? Or?
Yeah. I'll carry on recording, but I'll take it out.
Okay. I'll just get my.
That's fine. Seriously, don't worry.
Get the parcel. Oh, Can you get the parcel from the door? Sorry, we're in a new house, so I just bought a house.
Cool.
So he's in the living room painting with his music on, and then we've just got a delivery here, just deliveries all the time. So right, he's sorting that out now. Anyway, do you wanna start back again?
Yeah. So pick up from so Leeds then.
Yeah.
Completely like unexpected coming out of T2.
Yeah. So setting out of T2, I've never been at the start of the race out of T2 before. I'm always at the back end because my transitions are usually terrible. So I sat off basically in my head. I was like, right, well, I'm prepared for everyone to come past me now. And I just kept waiting, and then I think we got to the bottom of the hill, and I looked back and thought, oh, they're still quite far behind. And then, but still in my head, I was like, nope, everyone's going to come past me. They're all going to come past me. I know it's going to happen. And then, yeah, obviously it didn't happen. Only Vicky came past me. So, and I think Katie Safira's, I think we were running together at one point. And then I felt quite good. So I pushed her. I felt really good in the Leeds race, on the bike and on the run. So, basically I just used up what I had on the day. And I think that was like probably the start, because it just gave me a bit of a confidence boost there, and I just felt like I felt quite comfortable being in the World Series races, and I was quite happy to be at the front on the bike, and because I think I did Hamburg the year before, and I just felt completely lost, like I didn't have a place at all in the race, and I stayed at the back, and then that just got me in more trouble. So in Leeds, just forced myself to the front because I knew that was the safest place to be. And it paid off for me.
At the beginning, when you do your first WTS race, having done, World Cups, European Cups, Juniors, everything else, but actually the first WTS, do you just feel a bit, you're looking around, you think, I don't really belong here?
Yeah, definitely. Because, my first one was Hamburg, and it was horrific anyway, because it was a few weeks after Leeds World Series in 2017, and that's the year that I was supposed to race Leeds, but I ended up rolling my ankle the day before the race. So then that put me out for about 2 weeks. But I was so frustrated. I was like, I just need to race a World Series. So I said, I'm doing Hamburg no matter what. And I'd raced Hamburg, and I was not ready for Hamburg at all, because it's just a really fast race, and everyone's just on it, and it was a full start list, and it was just a terrible idea, but I did it anyway, and I think I pretty much came last. But I guess it was a start, and then the only way is up from there. So you do. I think because I didn't know anyone. And I just thought, I don't have a place here at all. Like, these girls are superstars. Like, these are the ones that I watch on TV and like look up to and think, oh my God, I'll never be able to keep up with them. And then you're in the race with them and you think, oh, okay, yeah, you go. No, don't worry, you go. And so I just stayed at the back. But then, I think I just had to forget about that and just throw myself into the race in Leeds and think, right, I do belong here. I've worked hard to get myself here, and I'm going to push myself to the front. And I think as well, what made me work so hard in Leeds, like all my family were there, so I wanted it to be quite special for them, and then the whole British team, and it was just quite incredible because we were all kind of at the front of the race.
How do you change that mindset though, going from I don't belong here to I do, hell I can be here?
I think it probably helped that it was Leeds and it was a home race. And I think I was just more relaxed, and I was just quite relaxed going into it. And I think after the race in Bermuda as well, I thought, I really want to turn this around. And I think in Bermuda kind of felt the same. I felt like I don't belong here, but then I got to mingle with a few of the girls, and they're just all really down to earth. Like, I thought they were just like amazing superstars, and then they're just really down to earth. You just chat to any one of them. So I think that kind of helps, that you're sat before the race on the blue carpet lining up, and everyone's just chatting to each other, and it's just really chilled out, and it's just a nice environment to be in. So I think that definitely helps. I think it helps you feel like you belong a bit more. And then, I wanted to show British Triathlon that I was worth the spot there, and I was going to work hard.
So you said that it was pretty unexpected. So then to actually finish third overall in the series.
Yeah.
It was. Go on, talk us through that.
Well, I think I asked after Gold Coast, after the race, like I didn't finish on a great race in Gold Coast. I can't even remember where I finished now. I think I was in the top 10. I really suffered there, but I crossed the finish line and I was just in a bad way. I dug really deep. And I crossed the finish line, and Vicky said to me, "Hello, Miss Third in the World." And I was like, "What? No, I didn't. You're joking." I said, I was rubbish. And she was like, "No, gee, you came third." And then I kind of collapsed at the side, and then I was taken into the media area. And I think I asked about 4 or 5 times. I was like, "Did I definitely come third? I definitely did, didn't I? Like, this isn't a joke. This isn't fair. I want to just go home. Like, I'm really tired now." And then they were like, "No, you came third." I was like, "Definitely. Are you sure? Are you sure you got it right? I definitely came third." And they're like, "I promise you wouldn't be here if you didn't come third." So it was I just couldn't believe it at first. And also I was a bit out of it and a bit dizzy from the race. And then we got on the podium. I was like, right, it really happened. I really did come third, and I just wanted to dance. So I did a little shake on the podium, and I was just so happy. And all the girls were there watching me and Vicky get our medals and our trophies. And it was just amazing. I couldn't believe it going into start of the year, just looking to get a few starts for World Series and a bit of experience, and then coming out with the third place. So it was an amazing year, and I definitely took it all in.
And off the back of that, I guess podium level funding. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so that's nice to have a bit more support. It means we get more support for races and around training stuff. So it's nice to be able to get a bit more support from British Triathlon from that. And it was nice to see my name up there with all the Olympians.
Tokyo 2020, have to ask. I guess that is qualifying is the goal for 2019, the test event and things.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it seems weird thinking about it now because it's not until the Olympics isn't until end of next year. But it's that will be, I guess, the biggest goal this year. I'm still going to obviously race all the World Series, but I'll just kind of take them as they come. The biggest target will be the test event in August, is when we're going to all go against each other and try and qualify for the Olympics. So it's going to be tough. And in my head, it's going to be so hot in Tokyo. In my head, I'm like, I don't even want to go anymore. I just don't want to go. It's going to be awful. We're just going to be hot from waking up in the morning. We're going to dive into a boiling hot bit of water, and then we're just going to be hot for the rest of the race. And it's just going to be one big sweaty hot thing, and it's going to be awful. But then obviously I need to just try and forget about the heat of it all, and just focus on trying to qualify. But it is going to be so hot. It's going to be ridiculous.
It will also be the Olympics, which has got something, pretty...
Yeah. But that will be amazing too, to say I'm an Olympian, but it's going to be really, really tough. But I'm sure we'll be prepared for it.
Will they be doing more work, like humidity sort of prep work this year with you in Leeds?
I was just in South Africa for 3 weeks, so that was kind of the start of our heat prep camp. And I did my heat test to see if I had adapted. I did that on Friday, and luckily I had adapted, so that was good.
What kind of stuff? What does that involve? A heat test?
So we basically went into the heat chamber for 45 minutes on. We were on a bike for 45 minutes, and I think I only had to hold 140 watts for 45 minutes, so it's just steady. But the temperature was 32 degrees and 70% humidity, so it's quite warm, but not like horrific. But you're not allowed to drink anything in there because we basically have to swallow this heat pill. So it monitors our core temperature, so it's like really accurate. And my temperature had gone down a whole degree, I think, from when I did it before at South Africa. So I adapted quite well to the training out there, and it felt much easier. So yeah, we basically just do that to see if we've adapted to the heat, and I had, so it was worthwhile. But I think that's really the only camp we'll do this year. Other than that, we're going to just be doing kind of just topping up while we're in Leeds, or using the heat chamber, or doing little bits at home, or doing like a block of heat chamber work. So yeah, just topping it up that way rather than traveling, because there's going to be quite a bit of traveling this year, and obviously we want to save all our energy for the test event. So yeah, I think we're just going to try and do bits in Leeds instead of going away.
And where will you start your 2019 season? I can't believe it's 2019, but anyway, where will you start this season?
Well, I'm going to start in Abu Dhabi, so that's in what, five weeks time, I think. So yeah, it'll all kick off there.
It's mad. It's mad. It's really, really mad.
I know.
Does Leeds feel a little bit different without Non? And say, you know, obviously Vicky wasn't there, like she hasn't been there really since Rio, has she? But does it feel a bit different without Non?
Yeah, it does. Because I was training with Non quite a bit, and she's just nice to have around, and she's just chatty and happy all the time. So yeah, it is hard, and like I said, I'm doing a lot of riding on my own now. So yeah, I'm gonna. I think me and Jess will probably end up training a bit more together riding. She lives a bit further away, so we'd have to try and work that out. But I mean, like I said, I don't mind riding on my own. It's all right. It's just sometimes you need someone to get you out the door. But yeah, it was sad losing Non. I was like, oh, it was a bit unexpected. I didn't think she was going to go, but I think Non will go really well from being in Joel's group. She goes really well off of a training camp environment, and she can just stay focused. And yeah, I think it'll be a good year for Non being, and I think it's a good thing for her to do. And she said, like, why not? She may as well. She's been in Leeds for years, and she felt like she needed to change something if she wanted to get back to being the old Non. So yeah, I was happy for her, but at the same time, I was just a bit sad. I was like, oh, another one gone. But she gave us all little bracelets when she left. Actually, it was really cute. So I've been wearing that every day since she left.
Oh,
got a little bit of Non with me.
Oh, it's nice to know that like everyone is, yeah, you race against each other, but actually the atmosphere between you all is really strong.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice that we've got such a good environment, and everyone gets on so well. And I don't think it's very common in triathlon. I think from what I've heard from like other teams, people kind of look at us and want what we have, because we're all just friends, and we just care about each other, and yeah, we just get on well. But yeah, I think other teams would never go for like a social dinner together or meet up or things like that. They kind of have their own separate groups out of triathlon, and they just kind of see each other at events. But yeah, we get on really well, and it just makes it easy to train, really, doesn't it? Because then you actually want to be around that person to train with.
Definitely. Right, I've got a few questions from listeners. So,
okay.
First one. Now, the question from Laura is actually, what's your favourite fueled by cake recipe? But you might not know what fueled by cake is. So what's your favourite cake recipe?
Favourite cake recipe? Oh, Oh no, I have so many. I love carrot cake. I'm usually like head baker when it comes to birthdays in Leeds, so I'm always on cake duty. So when it's my birthday, everyone's like, damn it, what are we going to do? G usually makes the cakes, but we can't really ask her to make her own. So yeah, I do love a carrot cake, and I always make a carrot cake. But I don't know, I love any cake. I've gotten into making scones recently. That's a thing from Jess, actually. She makes scones all the time. I was like, you know what? Scones are really easy to make, and they're really, really tasty. So I just make them all the time now. But I do love like a Yorkshire tea loaf as well. That's pretty good. Like toast it and put some butter on it.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's so many, but you can go between a tea loaf and a carrot cake. Tea loaf's pretty easy.
Tea loaf, bung it together, can take like 20 minutes. Bish, bosh, bash. Right,
Yeah.
Mick Simpson says, do you use any mantras during racing/training to help you work harder?
No, not really. I don't know. When it comes to training and racing, I don't really think about it. I don't have a plan. I kind of just go into the race and think, like, I'm here because I'm ready to be here, and like I'm ready to race. I wouldn't be on the start line if I wasn't ready to race. So yeah, I don't really tell myself anything, or I just think like I'm lucky to be here, and I'm gonna give this everything I've got, because why would I be here if I wasn't gonna put everything on the line today? So yeah, I think I just consider myself quite lucky to be in this position and have the job that I have.
Chantal Vermeer is, this was actually quite good, Georgia, given your background in swimming, right? She says, what's your top secret to keeping your hair healthy when hanging around in chlorine 5 days a week?
You know what I have? I sometimes do. I haven't done them in a while, but I used to do like coconut hair masks. So you just use coconut oil and you put it in what are called cocoa buns. So you put the coconut oil through your hair. You basically just get it out of a jar when it's hard, rub it between your hands and it starts to melt. Put it all through your hair. And then twist it into 2 little buns on the side of your head, and I just sleep with them in overnight. And I mean, it looks really greasy and horrible, but then yeah, you basically just put these 2 little buns in your hair, and then sleep with them in, and then in the morning or whatever, just do my training for the day with greasy hair, because who cares?
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you basically just get some shampoo and put it through your hair while it's still dry, and then wash it out, and then put shampoo it again once it's wet. And that's quite a good thing to do. So cocoa buns.
Oh my God, who knew? I love this.
I love like beauty products. Like I don't do makeup or anything, because I'd be absolutely dreadful at that, and I think if I put it on, I'll just like a drag queen or something. But I love doing face masks, and I've made my own face mask before, and I just enjoy doing things like that. Me and my boyfriend kind of sit in bed with our face masks on and have a cup of tea. It's great. It's just quite a chilled way to end the day, isn't it? You're like, oh, my face has been battered all day from the wind and the cold and mud, and God knows what else has been kicked up to my face from the road. So it's quite nice to do a little face mask.
I love this. Oh. Right, Nicola Goodwin. She says, what's the funniest thing you've seen in transition? She says, I've seen a seat, a shoehorn, I don't think you'd get this in the World Triathlon Series, a bath mat, and a bowl of water. She said the person didn't like sandy feet.
Oh, nice. You know what? If I had enough time to wash my feet, then I would. I'm not sure, because it's quite strict.
Yeah, you wouldn't have it. No.
Yeah, there's not much you can take in. So, God, I don't know what I'm going to say for that one. Yeah, just probably just seeing all the tired bodies around, just trying to get your shoes on, like, oh God. So, yeah, just all the tired bodies, really. That kind of makes you think, oh, we're in it together. We can do this.
And then I have the final question. about Sail Sizzler.
Oh yeah.
These are like the local, for people that aren't from, this part of the world. They're like a local 5K series in the summer. And I remember a few years ago seeing your name like at the very top of the list. And Rob, who do the podcast with, says, obviously you won't, but he just says that he was gutted when you went flying past him in the first kilometre a number of years ago.
Oh no, I can't even remember what year that was. I can't remember if that's pre-injury or post-injury. I feel like it might have been after I was injured.
I think it might have been after you were injured.
Yeah, maybe. And I think Malcolm wanted to see what sort of time I could do. I don't think it was great, but it was my first ever 5K on the road, so we gave it a bash. But yeah, sorry about that, Rob.
I remember looking down going, blimey, that is swift. What sort of time would it have been? Like,
was it 16:45?
There you go, you know it really, don't you?
Yeah, I think it was about 16:45. I mean, it's not that quick, but I was pretty happy with it at the time, to just get back into a bit of racing.
I would ask you about your injury, but I've already had you talking for over 35 minutes, so I'm actually going to let you go and carry on decorating or making face masks or doing whatever else you want to do.
Making a tea loaf.
Yes. Georgia, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Awesome stuff. I tell you what,
Brilliant.
Hels, it's amazing to hear someone who's like a genuine Olympian contender talking about borrowed bikes and hand-me-down T-shirts when she starts out. You just never know where someone's going to end up in this sport, do you?
No, and it was that feeling of just not belonging, but sticking with it.
Yeah.
And I think that tells you so much about, her as an athlete, and she's just so genuine as well, Rob. I mean, saying about how even she lacks motivation, and she and Jess Learmonth will sort of be virtual training buddies in a sense, and sort of say, right, come on, right, we're both going to go for a run at 1:00, even though they're not near each other. It's like, right, are you going? Yeah, come on, I'm going.
Yeah,
and
that's great, isn't it?
It's quite nice to know that actually we sometimes can all do with a little bit of a helping hand.
Yeah.
And a virtual training buddy to keep us motivated, definitely. So it's going to be exciting to watch her this season.
Nice. Yeah, good luck to you, Georgia. Great interview, Hels. All right, let's jump into Coach's Couch.
Cool. So this week's question comes from Claire Cottrell, who says, how do you set your running pace for an Ironman? My best marathon time is just under 4 hours. My best Ironman marathon time is just over 5 hours, I think, at Ironman UK. Not sure what pace to aim for when training. I think that's a great question.
It is. And it's two parts as well, isn't it? So the first part is what's a decent kind of pace to aim for when you're training for your Ironman marathon. So I've done some sums and looked at everything from like the pro end all the way through, and I've got a bit of a guideline for people, because there's this rough rule from people go, oh, add an hour onto your rough Beth's marathon time, which is fine and it'll work for some people, but it won't work for everybody, because it's going to very much depend on how fast or not you are. So what I found was at the pro and the very top end age groupers, about a 10% difference from your best standalone marathon seems to be about a best case scenario. So that holds up for pro men and women. If you think of Joe Skipper's probably, I'd imagine, in 225 to 230 shape for an open marathon, and he's running high 230s, low 240s, that's about a 10% difference. It holds true for our top age groupers who are probably in, let's say, 235, 240 shape for the males, and are running somewhere around the high 250s, the 3 hour mark for the marathon. And then, so if we think 10% is a best case for our faster athletes, all the way through to about 25% difference for our, if you want to call people middle of the pack, Ironman triathletes. So somewhere in that time zone is where you're going to be looking for. So a 25% difference for a person who's a 4 hour marathon runner is going to give you almost exactly an hour's difference. So that holds up with a 25% thing there. So I do think that for the majority of sort of, let's call them middle of the pack Ironman athletes, That hour difference, if you're a 4-hour marathon runner, or a little bit under that, if you're a 3.5-hour marathon runner, is somewhere in the ballpark of okay, that means I've had a decent Ironman run. And the key here is I think it's going to vary depending on what your running background is, because people from a really strong running background seem to find it easier to translate that into a really good Ironman run marathon. If you're not from a running background, it's sometimes a little bit harder. But it's worth reiterating, the key thing that's going to determine whether or not you have a good Ironman marathon is usually how well you pace the bike leg. It's very little to do with your actual run fitness, because if you go just a bit too hard on the bike, you're not going to be able to access any level of fitness that you've got for the Ironman run. Okay, so that kind of, I think, covers it, Hells, doesn't it, in terms of pacing between a 10% and a 25% drop off.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're shooting for. Then the next question I thought was really good was, I'm not sure what pace to aim for when training. So I ran the numbers in our pace calculator for Claire herself. So with her best Ironman marathon time, with her best flat marathon time of 4 hours, that's about 9-minute miling, give or take, let's say, for the sake of argument. And her e-pace zone would be somewhere a little bit quicker than that. So it was somewhere in the region of, let's say, 8.5-minute miling. So that's really revealing, because most people, when they start running using Jack Daniel's pacing tables, sort of complain, do you know what, this e-pace is really, really slow. But what we're finding here is even the slowest end of that e-pace zone, usually it's about 30 seconds per mile zone, even the slowest end of that is still sort of 30 seconds a mile faster than your sort of Ironman marathon time. So that's really worth considering for athletes, because if you're going to go out and run for 5 hours on race day at a pace and a gait that's slower than you've ever run in training, well, that's really hard for people, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really hard. It just feels like so wrong.
Yeah, totally. I remember this really clearly from the year that I raced the World Long Course Championships out in Holland and blew myself to bits on the bike and did the death shuffle all the way around the run. I was running next to this American guy, and he said to me, I've never run this slowly in my life. And we were bimbling along at probably just slower than 8-minute miles. So we were really trying to run, but we couldn't do for 30K. And he was like, I never run slower than 6:50 a mile in training. And I was thinking, okay, well, I do a lot of my running about this pace, so I'm okay. I'm just suffering like a dog. But he was saying, my hip flexors are gone, my ankle ligaments hurt because I'm landing on my heels. And like for him, 6:50 a mile was probably slower than his open marathon pace, because he looked a really fit guy. So it's worth considering that we do need to do some training at the same pace we're going to go on race day. So you don't need to overthink this. You just need to make sure that you're not pushing yourself all the time when you're running. And especially people from a running background tend to have done that in training. They tend to turn everything into a progressive run or a tempo run. So give yourself that ability to do, especially your long run, slower than you feel you can do. It's a great opportunity to run with someone who, in inverted commas, normally would be a slower runner than you, and have a chat. And it's really preparing you for the specific demands of the Ironman marathon.
Rob, and interestingly, this is not necessarily Ironman, but I was at a talk, a sort of film festival talk thing on Friday, and an amazing ultra runner called Holly Page was there talking, and she won the Sky Running series last year.
Yeah.
And she was saying that she doesn't have a coach. However, one of the key things that she has learned over the last few years is that actually she doesn't need to go and beast herself every session, because that is what she did. Yeah. So now she will go, we've said this so many times before, but she will take it easy in sessions. So she'll still get a session done, but she's not beasting herself, because then you can keep up with that consistency. Yeah.
And also remember, for long distance running, just the duration of the run is the challenge itself. You can take pace out of the equation entirely. If you're trying to do a 2.5-3 hour run in training, the very nature of the duration of that is the training load. Even being out on your feet and doing a walk for 3 hours is more than most people will ever do. So it's worth remembering that that's still training, even though you're not putting a massive load on your cardiovascular system. Okay, just want to say a thank you to everyone who's left a review on iTunes for us. We're now up to 171 5-star reviews, Hells.
Amazing.
Which is amazing. So thanks to Linny Mary, Stew Dog Wello, City Bird, Wim Poriper, and AJ Watkin. If you guys haven't left a review yet on iTunes, if you could, that would be awesome. It helps us rank really well in the iTunes thing, which helps downloads, which helps us get better names on the show. So it's only going to take a minute to log into iTunes and do that for us. That'd be awesome. And if you're not already a member, join us on the Oxygenetic Triathlon Community Facebook page, and you can leave us a question on there for Coach's Couch. Right, we're going to jump into a bit of news, which is sponsored by Thriver.co. So if you've not heard of Thriver.co before, this is brilliant. It's an at-home blood test that you can do. It's convenient, so you don't need to spend hours going to the doctor. You do a quick finger prick. You take 4 or 5 little drops of blood in your own home. It goes into a tiny test tube, which you then post back to them. There's no needles. There's no appointments. There's no time off work required. It literally took me 5 minutes, Hells, from opening the box to setting off on a run to post it back to them. Thrive use the same accredited labs and methods to test your blood as the NHS do, and your results are sent back to you, reviewed by a UK qualified GP with comments on from them. So my one came back and it looked like one of my cholesterol levels was into like the middle amber zone, and I thought, oh, I don't like that. But the comment underneath said, you don't need to worry about this because your level of good cholesterol is raising the overall number overall, so you've got nothing to worry about. So for me, that was a real big like, whew, 'cause I've never had a cholesterol test before. Yeah, exactly. So that's great. You get sort of written feedback from a GP, and it comes in this really cool online personalized report. So you can take changes. I know my vitamin B12 is low, so I'm taking a supplement now, and I can track that progress again in another couple of months to see if the supplement's really helping me. So you can go over to thriver.co and use the code OxygenAddict there, and it will get you 50% off your first baseline or advanced test. All right, Hells, tells us about the season kickoff, please.
Yeah, so it's Abu Dhabi this weekend for the first WTS race of the season. The start list, as ever, you're never totally sure if there are going to be any like last minute pullouts, but defending champions Henry Schumann and Rachel Klammer are both due to be starting. World champions Vicky Holland, Mario Mola are going to be there. Flora Duffy, former world champion. Katie Zafiris, who we had on the podcast last week. Alex Yee, half these people, Rob, we've had them on the show. It's amazing. Yeah. Tom Bishop's going to be there. Matt Hauser as well, the young Australian, the former junior world champion that we had on the show, talking about his rehab from that horrible bike crash. And then, so Vicky's going to be there. Non Stanford's going to be there. Jess Learmonth, Georgia Taylor Brown.
Everyone's going to be there.
Everyone's going to be there. Georgia
awesome.
Taylor Brown. And then India Lee. So, it should be a good race to see where everyone's at in, Olympic qualifying year and all that. No pressure. And then, Rob, the other bit of news is that Team Free Speed have announced 4 new athletes for the 29 season. First up, Neil Eddy, who we had back on the podcast.
Fastest age grouper at Ironman UK.
Correct. Episode 192, if you want to listen to that. Dee Allen, Mark Matthews and Katrina Rye make up the 4 new athletes for Team Free Speed for 2019.
Brilliant stuff. All right, well, I think we'd better wrap the show up there, Hells, for this week. Just a final shout out. Thanks very much to our sponsors, precisionhydration.com. Use the code OxygenAddict. Thriver.co. Use the code OxygenAddict. And Fuel Cell. You can use the code FreePost to get free delivery worldwide. And remember, you can enter the draw by checking the box at checkout for a free entry to the Outlaw Half Nottingham. All right, everyone. Until next week, we are the Oxygenetic Triathlon Podcast. I'm Coach Rob Wilby.
I'm Helen Murray.
And Helen, best of luck to you from everybody for your exploits in a ski marathon this weekend. Remember, everyone will be back a couple of days later than usual next week because Hells will be recovering and getting a flight back. So listen, everyone, until next week, have a great, safe training and racing week, and we will catch up with you all again soon. Thanks, everyone, for listening. See ya.